Levy (SPL) is expected to help accrue revenue for the execution of sanitation projects.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to NewsNight. We're coming to you live from our studios here at North Range in Accra. This bulletin is also live on DSTV channel 277 and on Facebook at Metro News. I'm Kenneth Jesse. Coming up. COVID-19, with most cases said to be the new variant, we bring you the latest on the pandemic. Several properties destroyed at the railway quarters in the central business district of Accra, in what persons affected to be an arson attack. We shall bring you details. A broken sewer network which exposed over 1,000 people in raw fecal matter in Tema Mahia has been fixed by the Tema Metropolitan Assembly with a promise to clear over a decade-old heap of refuse by the end of July, following Metro News' expose. In sports, we will be bringing you updates of Week 32 of the Ghana Premier League. On the international front, at least 45 people have died and dozens injured when a Philippines Air Force plane carrying troops crashed and burst into flames after missing the rail runway in the country's south. Welcome to the program. In our first story, residents and traders along the railway graphic quarters in the central business district of Accra are counting their losses after the fire razed down their properties, running to thousands of Ghana cedis. Residents suspect foul play in the fire, which started this dawn around 1:30 a.m. They spoke to my colleague Emanuela Asenga.
We just need help. So even though that is not short the way.
How can you believe that it's not a normal fire?
It's not a normal fire because they were here yesterday marking all the what they call it. Marking exactly 1:30 midnight. How can we know? Almost when we're forced to almost AM. So say almost AM for non-person if I had the exactly why 14 non-person or ye fihano. Just again for 4 years too much.
How much here the one I see sorry, best to around 2 o'clock. Yes, I have. It's yes, Sanya money na shedeba. Yes, shedeba fire service by to me by later on. By now. Before and celebrate me in Jano. So what I say.
In the time Ben started.
It started around 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. It started from here
from where Brewery Echihom. from UH.
Into the sea, moon, dancing a fire.
And you mean, yeah, show any baby. Mon sorry, yes, you, mon sorrow, yes, she. You're sorry, I'm pa, nay, Janice. Say free, sister. Any baby a jelly free. I am my bow. Then you have for Cromotina near the voting. I didn't ma. Now, Mamma, I won't just say I am buying land, no, by saying I am buying. Say, Cassa, I buy. When I am buying. Me no me and you are buying. I didn't know I'm missing your ears, sir. Sasa, I am with your normal job, Massasia. Yes, you are can't be. Mamma, that way your banners the way one you near Mano. Your bad day. Your baba shit, and I have a pamo. Oh, man, Cashy, and tray yet. I see a name in Jube. It is a buy. Ever share video way. No one shut the award.
And I do your that's why you're doing in us. You're no man in us. And I dare semi crowd will be a tardy. Anyway, you are my minister. The no man in us, and a man or man, no man in us. I mean, you say, I dare semi the Siamadica say, or be the Alatadian, and what the Amama say. And I am saying, no man in a blame, no man in us, Minister, me Macron Yata, no one of the digital at the other will be anyway, they are saying. And the poor Matchawala, as I say, I abandia, and it's a swam so more dear, I think I'm a catch lion, near ye and Roma, and look at some dear, you fast to the 2 years, 1 million 2 words a year, I must see a woman in and the Apmachawa won't come be my end. The theatre, yes, and will be a year, and what they are saying. Me what does so? I come here in Kwan, that one Kwan is semi. And I pay will be a yata, the assembly ministry. Me man, no man in us.
Meanwhile, efforts to reach the National Fire Service have proved futile. As of when we get them, we will update viewers on this particular story. Two other stories. A clash between two halls on the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, has left many injured and led to the destruction of properties, according to reports. The incident happened on Sunday, July 4th. There's more in the following report.
Public Relations Officer of the Student Representative Council at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Caleb Asamoah-Timmane, in an interview with the press, explained that the incident occurred during the vetting of the aspirant for the school's SRC at the Great Hall of the university. The incident reportedly began during the procession of the two halls, noted for their rivalry into the Great Hall to support their candidates who were aspiring for posts in the SRC. The Electoral Commission officials supervising the vetting were unable to handle the rapidly escalating situation and hence postponed the process. A full-blown fight reportedly broke out. According to Caleb, the students further vandalized school property in the process until calm was restored after security personnel on campus intervened.
Meanwhile, management of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi have suspended all activities leading up to the 2021 SRC elections with immediate effect until further notice, following the clash between supporters of two aspirants who were believed to be affiliates of University Hall, popularly known as Katanga, and Unity Hall, also known as Kunti. There's more in the following report.
According to an official statement signed by the university's relations officer, Dr. Daniel Norris Bekwe, the preliminary investigation has so far revealed that the vetting, which was held on Saturday, July 3rd, 2021, at the Great Hall, proceeded smoothly until it got to the aspirants for the SRC presidential slot, when the clash occurred. Some students sustained minor injuries, while some properties were destroyed. The police officers, together with the internal security who came to the scene, managed to restore calm. Meanwhile, the management of KNUST says it will institute a committee to thoroughly investigate the matter and made appropriate recommendations for consideration. The management has, however, assured parents and stakeholders of the university that there is absolute calm and students are going about their normal duties on campus peacefully.
Now, a broken sewer network which exposed over 1,000 people in the Tema Manhia Dadiagbo electoral area to raw fecal matter has been fixed by the Tema Metropolitan Assembly. Now, the intervention follows coverage of the situation on Metro News' Community Watch program.
As of today, there's a lot of interventions that we are putting in place, but I would like everybody in Tema and the whole Ghana to know that the sewer situation in Tema, which is over 63 years old, is a serious issue, and we need serious interventions. That is why recently you could see His Excellency the President of the Republic coming in to cut short, to look at it in the bigger picture, to see how it will be resolved. The one the media saw, I think we have done something about it. It is not best of solutions. It's just an immediate intervention to save the stench and what is making the people living in that community uncomfortable. That is what we have saved. But it is not best of solutions. We are still waiting to get assistance from His Excellency to see how the entire problems within the Tema area will be.
In a related development, the Tema Metropolitan Chief Executive Officer Felix Ni Ananla has promised to evacuate a heap of refuse at the U Beach by the end of July. The refuse, which has existed for over a decade, has been a health risk. Now, the commitment to clear the refuse follows coverage of the situation on Metro TV's Community Watch program hosted by Gabriel Ni Obudai Tobo Ashon.
A month ago, together with the assemblyman of the area, my waste management team, the environmental sanitation team, we have come together to see how best we are going to evacuate that waste from there. Could you believe that it is difficult for us to, the excavator that we are going to use, it is difficult to have space to move it there. It is 3 days job. But now, even to drive the excavator there is trouble. So, and it's an issue which is bigger than manpower. And closely, our eyes is there. We are still looking at it. Anytime we have solution to it, we'll get back to you.
So if people have built their houses on areas which ideally and originally should be routes or street within, it should be created to have that space to go and clear the refuse because lives are at risk, Honorable.
Buildings have to be pulled down to get to the place. And that is what people are begging the authorities with. But in the interim, we are putting measures in place to do continuous spray of the waste so that what you are talking about, that there will be a breakout of any diseases will not happen. But thinking that we have to get that heap evacuated from there. In the interim, since you make that story, we have made sure that we do some insecticides. We spray the whole place to make sure there will not be any epidemic. We'll by all means create a way. And I think we shouldn't wait till the sea defense come. We have to create the way now. I know it's going to affect a lot of structures. And I'll discuss with the Tema Traditional Council and my team to see if we can relocate those people it will be affected.
The question is, when are you going to create this space to clear the refuse? Or you've explained notwithstanding?
From now up to end of July, you'll see some action on the ground.
Okay. What specific action?
By creating the access to where the dumping site is. Okay. And since we all believe that that access creation will also go a long way in helping His Excellency's agenda on putting a sea defense along that stretch.
As you know, Community Watch 4, we shall be back in July to see if this action that the man in charge, the Metropolitan Chief Executive, has said indeed being worked on.
If you're watching us on DSTV, this is channel 277, and on GoTV, this is channel 170. NewsNight returns after this.
In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top-tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first-class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
Did you know that cloth handkerchief gets dirty and wet after wiping your sweat or blowing your nose with it? Keeping a dirty handkerchief in your pocket or bag is very unhygienic. Reusing it increases your chances of getting sick from germs. That is why I always use Flora disposable handkerchiefs. Flora disposable handkerchiefs is disposable, thus making it a more hygienic option. It's thick and very absorbent. With 10 tissues in a pack, Flora disposable handkerchief is better than a cloth handkerchief. The Flora toilet roll, Flora multi-purpose paper towels, Flora table napkins, and Flora box tissues in a shop near you. For both purchases, call Delta Paper Mail on 0243 033 033.
Now, two other stories. A total number of 2,217 COVID-19 cases have been recorded in 351 schools since school resumed early this year. The Volta region have seen the highest with 512, while the northern region has recorded no case at all. This was revealed by the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kum Abuaje, at the Ministry of Information press briefing.
In the last 3 weeks, Ghana has seen a surge in the COVID-19 cases. An average of 80 cases are recorded in a day, according to Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje. He has been speaking on some schools that have recorded COVID-19 cases.
Since school reopened, 351 schools have recorded cases, all across the country, primary, secondary, and all levels. We have a cumulative total of 2,217 positive cases. About 96.8% are so far recovered. Currently, we have 48 active cases, mainly from two regions. Greater Accra, one school accounts for 46 of them, and Eastern region has 2 cases from 2 schools. Currently, none of them have active cases apart from Eastern, which is Donko Kroma Greeks SHS, and St. Dominic Alex GHS, which is 1.
Dr. Kuma Abuaje confirmed some students of the Achimota school have contracted the new Delta variant of the virus, but adequate measures are being put in place to contain it.
We had a significant number of the initial one we did in Achimota as the Delta variant, and so once you do that, you assume that because it is a source that will spread around, we would assume that the majority of the variant will be the Delta variant. And that is why we are doing the strategic testing of these students to ensure that it doesn't spill. We have intensified enforcement of the infection prevention and control practices on campus, and disinfection of all places of concern are being done. Classrooms, vehicles, etc., are all being done currently.
Director General for Ghana Education Service urged parents not to panic in the face of the new development.
We are going to go on with the education, but I want to assure the entire country, especially for parents who have their wards in boarding schools and also in the Achimota, that every measure has been taken to ensure that we contain the spread of the virus.
They called on the need for the public to adhere to the safety protocols to avoid widespread of the virus. Alberto Bisi reporting for Metro News.
Now, members of the two families of the Ejura killing incident have rejected the three-member committee announced by the Interior Minister Ambrose Derry to probe the Ejura killings. According to the family members, they rather prefer either an open parliamentary probe or the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice, under whose mandate this matter, which involves excessive abuse of human rights, squarely falls, to thoroughly investigate this incident and cause the criminal prosecution of all persons found culpable. Now, Metro News' Ashanti regional correspondent Abdul Basit Suleiman filed this report, read to you.
The concerns of the families of the deceased come on the back of the three-member committee set up by the Interior Ministry to look into the killings and make recommendations within 10 days for action to be taken. However, families of the deceased have expressed the Ministry of Interior may be complicit as far as the agencies accused of the crime are directly at the rate.
If they want justice to reveal, they should take neutral people, neutral ground, to come and investigate, simply because we've seen several things similarly. No justice has been done. So me as a head of the family of Abdul Nasir Yusuf, what I wanted the committee of inquiry, the investigators should be neutral people. Either they should take it to Parliament, because at Parliament everybody is there. The ruling party will not agree for the opposition to cheat them, and the opposition will not agree for the leading party to cheat them. So they will do justice.
Everything is political animals supporting it. Now, when you look at what happened in Ejura specifically, the MCE regarding this, the disease, which is my brother Kaka, has several videos. He mentioned a lot of names that are behind, or that threaten him to take his life out of him. Up to now, police have not called any one of them. But we have another issue regarding this. The committee can be formed, but the outcome of the report may not be appealing to the family. What we are interested for now is justice.
Miho, the Member of Parliament for the Ejura Dumase constituency, Mohammed Bawa Brahima, who is a member of the Interior and Defence Committee of Parliament, has expressed his confidence in the caliber of persons chosen as committee members, but doubts the implementation of the reports by government when completed.
Of late, we've seen that the government has a penchant of deploying military personnel to undertake internal security operations, which has not helped at all. We have all been witnesses to the casualties that has occurred in several places and in several areas, or in almost all areas that the military are deployed in internal security operations. We have realized that wherever the army has been deployed, we have almost always, had casualties.
The three-member committee was set up by the Interior Minister to probe the incident in 10 days upon the orders of President Akufo-Addo.
Now, the former Inspector General of Police, David Asante Appiah, has taken legal action against Justice Kweku Enin, who is the presenter of NewsNight 2 TV's hot seat for defamation. According to him, Kwesi Annan also referred to him as a criminal who has been working in cohorts with hardened international criminals to unleash terror on Ghanaians. There's more in the following report.
In a statement of claim filed at the Accra High Court on Friday, July 2, 2021, Asante Appiah stated that the Net2 TV presenter claimed that he's on the payroll of top criminals in Ghana and as such slept on duty as IGP and refused to arrest and prosecute the hoodlums. He, however, debunked the statements by the journalist. He said the statements are untrue and were mischievously calculated by Kwesi Annan to disparage disparage him and to create disaffection for him and bring him into odium of the eyes of right-thinking members of the Ghanaian public and international community. The former IGP is consequently seeking reliefs which include general damages for libel contained in the defendant's publication of the plaintiff, aggravated damages arising from libel published by the defendant of the plaintiff, and costs including lawyers' fees. The Zoom Lion Company Limited, a subsidiary of Jospon Group of Companies, has won awards at the 10th edition of the Marketing World Awards 2021, held at the Movenpick Ambassador Hotel in Accra. Zoom Lion Company Limited was awarded for the Best Waste Management Company of the Year, the Best COVID-19 SCR Company of the Year, and Sophia Kujoji, Head of Communications of Jospon Group of Companies, was adjudged the Best Corporate Communications Professional of the Year. There's more in the following report.
The 10th edition of the Marketing World Awards was held at the Movenpick Hotel in Accra to celebrate brands and individuals that have worked tirelessly and passionately in the year under review. Akin Naftal, CEO of Instant Wave, organizers of the awards, believes brands' effort during the pandemic is worth recognizing.
2020 has enforced the need for brands to show their loyalty to customers. In many ways, brands' loyalty to its consumer is tested by such time, and those that are able to put human food forward triumph trustworthy brands. Tonight, we celebrate brands and individuals that work tirelessly and passionately in sustaining their brand equity.
In an interview with Metro News, Sophia Kujoji, Head of Communication at the Jospon Group of Companies, attributed the group's successes to the visionary leadership of Dr. Joseph Sian Ejapon, the group chairman of the Jospon Group of Companies.
To the glory of God, because of the visionary leadership of the executive chairman, Dr. Joseph Sian Ejapon, and the executive team, we just reinvented ourselves and just realized that this is a good opportunity to do more than we used to do. So we brought in more trucks, to take care of disinfection across the nation, and we went to every, corner of the country to disinfect. And once we were doing that, especially during the lockdown, we were able to prove to Ghanaians that Ghana can be the cleanest if only people will do what is expected of them.
For her recognition as the Best Corporate Communication Professional for the year, she thanked her team's effort in making the Zoom Lion brand a household name across Africa.
It's a very humbling experience for me to be recognized by people as the Corporate Communications Personality of the Year. I don't think it comes that easy, because in the midst of the COVID, in the midst of the challenges, we had to lead and make sure that everything was being done well, and wherever we went, we made it clear. And as people were struggling, we were changing the narrative, on the market. We made people know that Zoom Lion is not just about bola, but it's about safety, it's about health, it's about the welfare and well-being of Ghanaians. And that is how we changed the narrative, and I'm sure that is what the world saw and decided to recognize us for what we do. But it has not been an individual's affair. To be honest, there's been a great team working on this.
Sophia Kujoji believes Zoom Lion and other companies under the Jospon Group are geared to project Africa's great potential to the rest of the world.
Congratulations to the Jospon Group of Companies for that big win there. Now to other stories. The youth wing of the opposition National Democratic Congress has outlined the rules for its planned protest on Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. This comes after the police okayed the protest after initially declining the request to provide the protesters the intended security. But after successful deliberations between the two sides, the police gave the green light for the protest dubbed a March for Justice to come off. Details in the following report.
In a statement signed by George Opareado, the national youth organizer of the NDC, the time for the convergence is 6 a.m. with Accra Mall as the convergent point. Protesters will from there march through the Liberation Road to Ofebia House, through Aviation Road, through to the Lands Commission. They will then proceed to the Jubilee House, through the Switchback Road, use the Akwaje interchange, through to Parliament House. The youth wing has assured of the safety of demonstrators and the strict enforcement enforcement of COVID-19 guidelines. The group will at the Jubilee House present a petition to President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. A similar petition will also be submitted to the Speaker of Parliament at the Parliament House. The protest is to demand justice for all persons, quote, killed and brutalized by state-sponsored thuggery and or adventurism by police and military forces, unquote. It is also to demand social justice for the unemployed in the country. The initial routes include Medina, the Central Business District of Accra, Osu, and La Paz. They had also indicated that they would petition the IGP at the police headquarters, but it appears these have changed after engagement with the police.
Now, some farmers at the Kotal in the Kotal Ayensuano district of the Eastern region are threatening to demonstrate against the chief and the DC of the area for destroying their farmlands to pave way for the construction of the district hospital. They spoke to Tema correspondent Samuel Asamoah.
These farmers say they are legitimate owners of the land in contention. According to them, they received a call from the palace and were told by the chief to harvest their produce from their farms within 3 days and hand over the land for the construction of a hospital facility. They say even before they could register their displeasure or otherwise, the chiefs and officials from the district assembly with guards move in to guard over the 15 acres of their farms. Isaac Asiedu tells Metro News that his family was consulted by the officials from the district assembly to offer them a piece of land for the hospital project, but they were not willing to pay the amount stated by the family. He's surprised that while negotiations are ongoing, the assembly is forcefully taking over their farmlands without proper consultation.
Na nipa no so no so waka de ayeden e de akireo ba wutumi fiti preko pese bia wo ye onyene anase bia wo ye DC ntino wunya asase de project a wo fiti nko ana akofo bia de for the langa de abesha asase no so be ye mo nipa be 50 chese gise wan you phone kran kita no wata ho wo yi phone a wase wo video won wo ye say wase wo video chese ene ekode enye na sanka wo den wo tua adesa half payment anase bia wo di scan ba na wutumi start on project na o share ka o discan beba o share time na pan o share na pan ba yesterday no na director no pese o ko hu amafo no be hu no ofa no di asase nanu na o de machine kwesi asase so.
When Metro News contacted the chief of the area, Berima Okekrebise Asiedu II, he noted that the farmers acquired the land from some individuals from the royal family without the consent of the chief. He said he is ready to compensate any farmer with proper documentation.
Obia fane receipt ne documents mra na obia ani bibi wo ho ye pia ne banche kaman wache ana masase fo na ye busuafo oton ne so me san frɛ wo nyina ase obia wato asase ma account bia fane bra e ma wo start frɛ won bu na wo mu won entina wo amma.
He emphasized that his action is to ensure that the district gets its own share of the construction of the 118 district hospitals promised by the government. Effort to speak to the district chief executive proved unsuccessful.
I'm at the meeting, so I'll call you back.
All right.
Wherever you are in the world, you remember you can watch us live on Facebook at Metro News, on Twitter at Metro TV GH, and on YouTube at Metro TV Ghana. NewsNight returns after this break.
We are one man short. Should we invite him?
Yeah.
It be old cargo.
Can I join you guys?
Yeah.
Always drink fresh, natural. You still got it.
Always keep hydrated naturally. That's my secret.
Manufactured with the primary aim of preserving nature's finest minerals necessary for a healthy mind and body. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural.
UEFA Euro 2020, Europe's grandest football championship with Europe's grandest players.
Oh, what a goal! Ronaldo, it's the second.
It's not about where it's played, but how it's played. And when it's played on a stage this big by players this intense, it's anyone's game. UEFA Euro 2020. Get and stay connected to DSTV to watch UEFA Euro 2020 on dedicated SuperSport channel.
Business, and Winston is standing by with the latest. Winston, what's up in business?
Thank you, Kenneth. Indeed, there's more here on Business Tonight with me, and I'll be bringing you an update from the Ghana Commodities Exchange and some new development that has to do with farmers being connected to new technology in the farming sector. Stay tuned for more. Now to our first business story. The Ghana Commodities Exchange is set to connect farmers to their customers through technologically marketplace. According to the Chief Executive Tuchi Goche Ivowi, users will have the advantage to connect trader on the platform anywhere in the country.
What we do whenever we bring on board new members, we take them through an extensive training and orientation. Some of them decide that actually I want to do this myself. Some of them decide I want to go through a farmer-based organization. And then a third group says I want to do it myself, but I will get some help. So this is one way that we've been able to start to look at bringing youth into the whole agricultural markets. Before, it was just whatever's happening at the farm, the commodities are produced, somehow they go to market, they sell. But now we know that we can get wider markets if we come through the exchange. The trading fee is let's say 0.9% on the buy and the sell side. So in terms of fees that the commodity exchange makes from trades, it's actually relatively low, it's pretty low, and the value that the sellers and the buyers are getting are much higher. So we always, at every point in time, we make sure that it makes business sense to list a given commodity. If the farmers will lose, then it doesn't make sense. And that's why it also takes quite some time for us to bring new commodities on board.
And now, the Economic Partnership Agreement between Ghana and the European Union is to enable liberalization, development and diversification of bilateral trade between Ghana and the European Union. Alan Chirmanten, Minister of Trade and Industry, and Valdis Dombrovskis, Vice President of the Commissioner, have together announced effective from July 2021 of the implementation of the Interim Economic Partnership Agreement. Alan Chirmanten, Minister of Trade and Industry of Ghana, Valdis Dombrovskis, Executive Vice President and Commissioner for Trade of the European Union, together have announced that July 1st, 2021 marks the start of the effective implementation by Ghana of the Interim Economic Partnership Agreement between the European Union and Ghana. Since December 2016, the EPA guarantees duty-free, quota-free access to the EU market for products made in Ghana. And as of today, Ghana starts liberalizing access to its market for 80% of the total volume of EU products. This is crucial for developing and diversification of our local bilateral trade. It also creates better opportunities for EU companies to trade and invest in Ghana and produce goods for export to the wider African market under the preferences available under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Although the EPA was concluded in December 2007 and ratified by Ghana in 2016, the implementation of the tariff liberalization schedule was delayed, PES1, to take technical adjustment agreed between Ghana and EU. The necessary rules of origin document to be used for trading, including a certificate of origin and origin declaration, have now been developed, and the codes and systems are in place for the start of the effective implementation of tariff cuts for EU products entering Ghana. And now moving on, the expenditure allocation for the agricultural sector in the past 4 years has stayed below 1% of government's total spending in the economy. This dip can be partially attributed to government refocused investment in the health sector due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
The total spending for the agriculture sector in 2017, which was 384.6 million Ghana cedis, constituted just 0.71% of the entire government expenditure. In 2018, total spending on the sector rose to 502.7 million Ghana cedis, which comprised 0.79%. There was a significant increase in the sector's investment in 2019 to the tune of 635.9 million Ghana cedis, making about 0.86%, with 576.9 million Ghana cedis being expenditure for 2020, constituting 0.68%. These figures depicted the total for compensations, goods and services, and total capex for the sector during the 4-year period. Although allocation to the sector was increasing from 2017 to 2019, there was a dip in 2020. This phenomenon can be attributed to government's refocused attention on health sector spending due to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The year-on-year adverse variations in the request made by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture to support expansion of the fertilizer subsidy program has been met by fiscal policy caps by the Ministry of Finance. Meanwhile, government's projected investment looks positive as 1.5 million farmers are targeted to benefit from the Planting for Food and Jobs initiative in this year 2021.
Here is how the cedi is performing against major global currencies and how commodity prices are being focused across the world. That's it for business here on NewsNight. My name is Winston Taki. Back to Kenneth Jesse for the rest of the bulletin.
Thank you very much, Winston. After the break, Phil John Corte will be joining us with the latest in sports. Stay with us.
Football pa and nothing a high sense as sponsor Euro 2020 Edia Mauno Nesa Suntina Yatete TV so say who Edia Mauno a high sense Euro 2020 TV super promo can who brand new high sense TV and board that for pictures near clear na color near deep sound quality this so dear one it here high sense TV so dear entry power about down one access you are akona utusa abefu 18th June, I call him 11th July. A Hisense Euro 2020 TV Super Promo. And my refi say Hisense and Kwan and my 5 years warranty. A Hisense Euro 2020 TV Super Promo. I cost to a Hisense showrooms. I want Ghana for Nanina. What you dear Nansenya? Hisense, everyday prices for everyday people. Hisense, official sponsor at the Euro 2020.
My name is Phil John Quarter, and it's time for sports. Let's start with the Ghana Premier League. Match day 32 is started at the Langley Sports Stadium, where Kotoko were held by a goal each, with King Faisal. Their manager is Maniari Barreto, who is not happy with the results.
These things do happen in football. Like I told you in the pre-match, I told you that we were coming to fight to get the results. And then we started very well. And then we had all the chances to seal the game. And unfortunately, after the first goal, we couldn't utilize other chances that came our way. But the boys did well. They fought very well. And you could see that they really played to tactical instructions. And then I don't want to talk about officiation, so we'll just move ahead and look at what will happen to our next home match against Dwarfs.
We felt very, very hard the game we lose against Hearts, and some of players today was so much affected for that, and we didn't play well. We didn't play well. We have to recognize this. King Faisal make a goal, never can happen. And after that, you have to run against the result. And King Faisal make his job, trying to make counter-attack, trying to make surprise for us. But we didn't make nothing special to change the game.
Let's now focus on European football. In England are qualified for the semi-finals after going through in an interesting match played in the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. They beat the men from Kiev, that is Ukraine, by 4-0. Harry Kane was in targets twice. So was the captain of Liverpool and Manchester United in Harry Kane and Jordan Anderson. Let's hear the reaction.
It would have been really hard to replicate the atmosphere from the Germany game. So to come here, prepare differently, play in an historic stadium on a night that was beautiful for football with the weather, I think inspired the players. And
a fantastic performance from everyone, really. The perfect night for us, you know. We got off to a great start. To be fair to Ukraine, they created a few problems for us kind of 10-15 minutes after that. We had to adapt our formation a little bit. But then second half we come out on fire, and obviously getting them early goal. We haven't done nothing yet. We've got a massive semi-final to look forward to now at Wembley. What an occasion, what a moment to be involved in. But like I said after the Germany game, we have a vision of where we want to be. We're taking it step by step, and so far so good. So we have to recover now, enjoy it, take the confidence from this game, but then obviously look ahead to...
Harry Kane is the captain of the Three Lions, speaking after they beat Ukraine by 4-0 to play in the semi-finals, where they were playing against Denmark on Wednesday at Wembley. Just before we move away, after the departure of Roy Hodgson as the coach of Crystal Palace, former French international Patrick Vieira has been appointed.
Lucien Favre's last-minute U-turn on replacing Roy Hodgson. An initial agreement was reached on Tuesday, with the finer details ironed out in recent days. Director of Football Dougie Friedman will work closely with Vieira on all football matters, primarily transfers, an area led to breakdown in talks with another candidate, Nuno Espirito Santo. Vieira's worked with Manchester City's development side before his first job at their sister side, New York City. He then moved to Ligue 1 with Nice, finishing 7th in his first season. He lost his job in December after a run of 5 defeats in all competitions and elimination in the Europa League.
So there you have it. The former Arsenal legend is in EPL once again. He'll be in charge of Crystal Palace when the season starts in August. That's it for sports. My name is Phil John Quarter. Desmond is standing by for Showbiz. That's it.
Well, John, in Showbiz today, we've got news on Akosua Japan, and definitely we'll move abroad to talk about Bill Cosby's conviction being overturned. Janice Dickinson is not happy about that. The details coming right after this. My name is Desmond Okrekudan. So let's get into the details. Veteran highlife musician Akosua Japan has called out the Ghana Music Rights Organization to make sure that they make musicians get the royalties due them. In an exclusive interview last Friday on Good Afternoon Ghana with Francisca Kakra-Folson, Akosua Japan asked Gamro to do the right thing because some legends died as paupers without receiving anything from the organization.
the right thing needs to be done. Looking at my first 4 kids, they're all into music. They love
6
music.
in total?
You have 6, yeah. They love singing, they love dancing, they've composed songs. But I sit back and I ask myself, are they going to be like us? Because they're writing good songs, but we can't even produce our songs. The reason being, the monies that we're supposed to get, we are not getting it. The monies that we have, the government, we've been able to come up with a collective society whereby our money is being collected, but we don't get it. So at the end of the day, it's so pathetic when you realize that some legends just died, not because of anything, but because they got sick and they couldn't get what is due them for them to be able to take them to the hospital, for them to take good care of themselves. And so sometimes it's pathetic when you sit back and ask yourself, what are you in there for? And I always say, and I continue to say this, the young artists out there, the musicians out there, don't think they're going to remain this the same. So you should help us so that our organization that is called GAMRO,
the Ghana Music Rights Organization,
the right thing needs to be done, because we have money sitting there. We have some people just misusing anyhow.
Have you received anything ever from them?
Yes, and the monies that come in is so pathetic. And you don't.
So that's veteran highlife musician Akosua Japan not happy about the happenings at GAMRO. Let's move abroad. An American model and television personality, Janice Dickinson, has expressed her anger and disappointment in the release of Bill Cosby from prison. She spoke to Entertainment Tonight in an exclusive interview.
In an exclusive interview with Kevin Fraser on Entertainment Tonight last week, Janice Dickinson, who was visibly angry, expressed her disgust over the fact that Bill Cosby, 83, was released from prison on June 30 due to his 2018 conviction for drugging and sexually assaulting Andrea Costand, gets overturned by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. The 66-year-old model first claimed Cosby raped her in a 2014 interview with Entertainment Tonight. She said she felt like she had been kicked in the abdomen upon hearing the news of his release.
I'm angry. I'm angry they let him out over a procedural. That's basically all I have to say. I can't get into the legalese about it. I can only speak from my heart and say that the statute of limitations is not fair. It's not. It's just not fair.
Dickinson also shared her reaction at watching footage of Cosby returning to his home smiling and giving signs without apologizing to his victims.
Bill Cosby didn't speak for himself. He didn't speak out loud how his experience was. He didn't apologize once again to all the victims. I would say to him personally, you've got a whole lot of nerve coming out and smiling and giving peace signs.
What do you hope he says?
I'm sorry. I would hope that Mr. Cosby would say I'm sorry. But that's never going to happen.
And that's it for entertainment here on News Tonight. My name is Desmond Okrekudas. Back to Ken for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, for bringing the latest entertainment. Up next is international news. To the Philippines, where at least 45 people have died and dozens were injured when a Philippines Air Force plane carrying troops crashed and burst into flames after missing the runway in the country's south. Now, the C-130 Hercules transport plane had at least 96 people on board when it crashed about midday on Sunday. According to the military, the 3 pilots who were on board the craft survived the craft but were seriously injured. The plane was transporting troops, many of them new soldiers who had just undergone basic training from the southern part of Philippines for deployment in Sulu, the officials said.